Hello everyone and welcome back to the SCG game night here at Grey Ogre Games. My name is Mick. I am your host for tonight. I keep forgetting my place because I'm the only one here right now. We are watching the match between Fuzi and Jeffrey Chan on the left and right respectively. Jeffrey is running a very spicy brew. It might look like he's running blue white flash, but he is running something deviously creepier. And here trading off one of his what's it call it, the Traben inspectors with the what's that guy, Scrap Heap Scrounger. Alright, so this deck, very interesting deck, I can tell you. It's blue, white, engulf the shore deck, which to the bane of many players is very difficult to deal with this deck, honestly. I've watched him play it on Magic Online and it's not nice. It really is not nice, but very cool deck. Very cool make. So on the other table we have David Wu, one of my favorite deck builders. He comes out with very innovative decks, and he's playing against John Paul Poe, good friend of ours, and has even come in to cast the games with us recently. We'll switch over to their game if and whenever there is time away from Fuzi and Jeffrey's match. Anyway, how are you guys doing tonight? Wood, Aetherflux! Oh yeah! Aetherflux. Is Aetherflux Reservoir good or bad? I think it's quite good, right? So Jeffrey here, guess contemplating whether to lay a tapped land. Maybe go with the Aetherflux Reservoir. Okay, so no pressure right now. Just goes for the Aetherflux Reservoir. Does that elicit a response from Fuzi? Does he have a Spell Queller? It looks like he's going to Spell Queller it. No, he decides yes. Okay, so Spell Queller is going to eat that. Unfortunately, he does not know that maybe an Engulf Your Shore is coming along. And that might be a little troublesome for him. Yep, there's an Engulf Your Shore in hand, but Jeffrey's got to be wondering, do I just do it right now? Does he have another Spell Queller? And the answer is no, but he doesn't know that. So let's see if Fuzi just taps out right now. He does cast the Selfless Spirit. He's going to pass the turn. Lays a non-blue land, just passes the turn. So this is going to be really tough for Fuzi to win. I'm going to crack the clue, and Jeffrey, does he take the opportunity right now? Nope. He decides not to. He just passes the turn. He does have Unsubstantiate, which will probably push back the Spell Queller. Does he go for the Engulf the Shore here? Yep, okay, so he goes for Engulf the Shore. So everything gets pushed back. Everything with 4 or less toughness. Okay, so Engulf the Shore, let me read the text. Return to their owner's hands all creatures with toughness less than or equal to the number of islands you control. And Jeffrey here has 44 islands, so all the creatures on Fuzi's side of the board gets pushed back. And Jeffrey can even cast the Unsubstantiate, but I don't think he wants to. Does he do it anyway? Anticipate is going to gain him 2 life. 4C, 2W. If you have 40 life on upkeep, win the game. Oh, okay. No, he does not run the Felida Sovereign, unfortunately. You want a game with Momir Vic by milling? How is that even possible? Alright. Okay, so we're not looking at it, but the anticipate, what does it get? Jeffrey, that extra card. Looks like an Unsubstantiate. A Reflector Mage here. Does he just cast the Reflector Mage? Cloud Blazer, alright. So Cloud Blazer rides under oh man. There's another Aetherflux Reservoir. He's going to cast Trouble Inspector, that's going to get him a clue. Trouble Inspector gets eaten up by Spell Queller. Unfortunately, Spell Queller is not very long for this Earth. And Jeffrey has many tricks for him to use to bounce back creatures, just gain amount of life. He's going to trade off with the Scrapheap Scrounger, which feels like a good plan, I think. Yeah, the plan here is actually to just fill up your graveyard with things like Essence Flux, so that when you cast your Torrential Gearhulk, you can just Essence Flux, Essence Flux, Essence Flux. Or does Jeffrey go for the second? Who does he go for the second Aetherflux Reservoir? Now he's at 17 life, which means that he is quite comfortable. He's going to gain 1 life off of that. And he's going to cast a Reflector Mage. Going to push back the Spell Queller. Spell Queller going to enter the battlefield. So they enter the battlefield tapped. And the best thing about Spell Queller is that you recast the spell. Alright, okay, so Jeffrey does remember that they enter the battlefield tab. So when you bounce back a Spell Queller, the thing about Spell Queller is that you get to recast that spell. And so that actually works with the Aetherflux Reservoir. And right now, it doesn't look like Jeffrey is going to lose anytime soon. In fact, oh man, it looks like he's going to be doing pretty well. He's probably going to cast a Unsubstantiate, try to bait out that Spell Queller. When the Spell Queller enters the battlefield, he's going to Unsubstantiate again and bounce back the Spell Queller, gets him back the Unsubstantiate. He's going to cast the Unsubstantiate again and, you know, get extra, even more value out of that casting the spell. So you're going to cast, you just like 2. You're going to have, well, a lot of triggers. And that will gain him, what, 2 plus 4, that's 6, plus another 6, that's 12. A lot of life. But he's gonna take some beatings here. He's got Engulf the Shore. No problem. May choose to Engulf the Shore right now, but probably doesn't. Does he have a basic land? Nope, doesn't. Just gonna wait for that Spell Queller. He has enough mana for a Spell Queller, which now is so dangerous. It is so dangerous right now to run the Spell Queller out, because he, you know, Jeffrey will be able to gain that much life. I'm not sure whether Futsu knows the plan against this deck, but it's going to be a bit tough for him to eke this game out. So let's see. So he knows he's got 1 Spell Queller in hand. They're going to go in, probably, I don't know, I have no clue what Futsu is going to try to do. Get some value out of it. Just cast the Thraben Inspector. You know your opponent's going to try to bounce back everything, or maybe you don't. But maybe cast that extra Thraben Inspector, get an extra clue off of it. And the more clues you have, then, you know, just gain a bit more card advantage. As Jeffrey is pushing everything back into your hand, you can draw more cards. So he's going to crew the vehicle, going to swing in with everyone, except for the Thraben Inspector. So 2 guys going in. Do we see the Engulf the Shore? This might be a little tricky. So yeah, Jeffrey being a bit patient. Gonna try to trade off with the Wheeler. He's going to just take 3 points of damage and just probably pass the turn. Let's see what else does he do. Oh, I see the problem now. He's got only 2 white sources. Okay, so gets a second clue of the Thraben Inspector. End step, casts a Torrential Gearhulk, which evades the Spell Queller. So he gains 2 life after that. Does Jeffrey forget? Alright, so he gains 2 life after that. He's gonna Engulf the Shore. Oh man, this doesn't... Alright, so he gains 4 more life. And then Gulf the Shore actually happens. Everything gets pushed back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Including the Gearhawk. Does he have Essence Flux? He doesn't. Okay, so Fuzi has to discard down to hand size and discards the Traben Inspector. Jeffrey here having even more lands. This is a very interesting deck to watch happen. So he's going to gain 2 more life. Going to Glimmer of Genius here. Gaining 4 more life. Scry 2. Gain 2 energy. Scry 2. Draw 2 cards. What Jeffrey is looking for now is just a way to keep chaining spells. So he wants probably Aetherfluxes. He wants Traben Inspector. Gonna gain 6 more life. Basically, that's what he wants to do. He wants to just keep chaining spells, chain spells, and then just go off. In one turn, you should be able to gain 12 more life, 12 to 16, 20 life. So if he casts 4 spells, it's 20 life, and that will happen if he's able to like Essence Flux into Essence Flux. And the way that works is that, Essence Flux, he puts the Torrential Gearhawk back into the battlefield. Torrential Gearhawk targets the Essence Flux, bounces Torrential Gearhawk again. Yeah. So yeah, this is a nice deck. This is a pretty interesting deck. Very difficult to play around if you're not playing counter spells. And even if you're playing counter spells, like this deck goes into sideboard quite craftily against those other decks. So let's see. Probably gonna try the Declaration in Stone. Is that okay? Alright, so Jeffrey lets that resolve. Gets another clue. So plan here now is just to chain spells together so that you can Aetherflux Reservoir. Let's see whether that's gonna happen. Selfless Spirit, and then keep up the okay, so he's got a third white source, which is good. So Selfless Spirit, and then keep up Spell Queller mana. Beat in for 3, brings Jeffrey down to 30. That's a clue. Okay, so no life gain this turn. That's another unsubstantiate, and that's going to be really painful. Engulf the Shore is going to be really painful. So let's see. Is there a Cloud Blazer in hand? No, there's a Reflector Mage. So maybe start off with the Reflector Mage. I'm not too sure. 4 mana is going to try to Engulf the Shore first. That's going to get eaten up by a Spell Queller. That's fine. Spell Queller is probably going to get pushed back to hand. Reflector Mage. Okay, so he's going to gain another 2, 3 life. Okay, so then he casts the Engulf the Shore, and that gains him even more life. And that pushes back everything back to hand. He's going to cast... That's exactly 50 life. And he passes the turn. Okay, so this is... Wow! Fuzi here just needs the Fleetwheel Cruiser. Just bash him with a Fleetwheel Cruiser. That brings Jeffrey down to 45. Otherwise, Fuzi is dead next turn. So he needs to do something. He needs a hasty creature. And unfortunately... And then keep the Spell Queller, but the Spell Queller actually adds up to the... Spell Queller is part of the problem because Spell Queller allows you to cast the damn spell again. Alright, so Fleetwheel Cruiser here. Fleetwheel Cruiser has arrived. Bash. That's the only way to stop him from killing you next turn. Like automatically killing you next turn. So he's got a bash. Alright, so Jeffrey just takes it. Go down 45. Can he cast 2 spells? It's very possible. The spells are cheap. No problem. Selfless Spirit. Oh no. Oh no. No, 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 no. No. Okay, so now there is no mana. Jeffrey is free to do whatever he wants. But that is correctly identifying that Spell Queller is going to be part of the problem. And you're gonna go Reflector Mage. Gonna push back. So gains 2 life from that. Reflector Mage on the stack. Gonna... Actually, no, he should push back one guy. Gonna push back his own spell. You know, he can do this all on the stack and gain even more life. Yeah, for fear of burn spells, of course, there's no burn spell to be had. And then deals his opponent 50 points of damage. Yeah, easy game. Who knew? Aetherflux Reservoir, quite a powerful card. Going on, really? Yeah, Jeffrey is playing the Aetherflux Reservoir deck. Yeah, the bemoaning point of both Solomon Poe and Ryan, who claim that the deck doesn't work. But here you are watching. I've watched the Magic Online. I've watched the Magic Online version. It works. I've watched, and now I'm watching him playing in real life. It's working.
So this is the one with the bounce spell for everything.
Yes. Engulf the Shores.
Engulf the Shore.
Yeah.
That's right.
So creature decks, very good.
And does it like blink the Reflector Mage and things like that?
Yeah, so it uses Reflector Mage to push back your opponent's creatures. It uses Unsubstantiate to push back spells and creatures. Does not use Spell Quellers, which is kind of interesting, but it just pushes everything back to your hand. And it's very good against the blue-white decks, especially those who use Spell Quellers, because I just realized that when you push back the Spell Queller, you cast the spell.
Yeah, it is.
Of the spell queller, which actually adds to the Aetherflux Reservoir count.
But
so
put it into perspective for you. I saw a game which Ben played against Solomon with these decks.
Oh yeah.
In the exact matchup that you're talking about. And Ben's comments to this is essentially that the blue-eye deck only needs to stop a few things.
Yeah,
it needs to stop the reservoir.
It needs to stop the reservoir. Don't stop any of the bounce spells, because the bounce spells, just let them happen. So you need to hard counter the reservoir.
Yeah, and like the torrential gearhawk is stopped by like stasis snare or any number of answers that is available to the blue-white player.
Yeah,
so essentially what the game looked like. It was a really long game, but Ben just sat back on his counter spells and just wait.
Yeah. So if you have, in main board, if you've got counter spells, then you're gonna catch this deck by surprise. But if you don't, then it's gonna be a really hard and long matchup, and there'll be cases where the deck will just beat you down with Torrential Gearhawks because you don't have your Stasis Nest. And even if you got your Stasis Nest, like, it might be difficult because he might just be able to bounce you with Essence Flux.
Right, but I really feel that the deck does nothing, which is
the deck does nothing. That's the whole point. The deck does nothing.
Stop the major threats from the deck. If you stop the Aetherflux Reservoir, all that bouncing here, bouncing there,
then it doesn't do anything. So the key cards that you need to take out is the Torrential Gearhawk and the Aetherflux Reservoir.
Actually, honestly, the critical card is just the Reservoir. If you can stop the Reservoir coming to play, you can deal with the Gearhawk.
I guess eventually you can deal with it.
And you have your own creatures.
Correct.
And if you get in emblems, things start getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and the pressure is always on the opponent to engulf or to do something to react to the board if he doesn't have a Reservoir.
Yeah. So this deck actually, well, I would say it's good at the moment because a lot of people don't know how to play against it. They don't know what the deck makeup is, so it's kind of hard for you to figure out. But once people start figuring out, then even decks that you are using right now, you just have to play a bit more intelligently. But you need to know what the game plan is.
Precisely. I think that right now, if you don't have a good game plan against it and you fight over the wrong things or you're trying to deal with the wrong threats,
then
you're gonna lose the long run.
Yeah, Engulf the Shore is like, okay, sure, but you will rebuild your board eventually.
Precisely. And if the game drags long, and there's a lot of mana, then you can just basically replay your entire hand.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay,
all right. Thanks, Joe. Woo! All right. We are going to go back to their game. I transitioned over, but They have started their game. Fuze, of course, going first. And a relatively slow start, but he does have Rattle Chains in hand, which means that he'll be able to cast it and step, which is nice. Jeffrey doesn't have to worry too much about that. Just keep on with the game plan. He has sideboarded in Spell Quellers to eat up certain cards. He's going to bounce back the Thalia back to his opponent's hand. Just take 2, it's okay. And just going to be able to pass the turn. So now has enough mana for a Spell Queller, which will probably eat that Thalia or that Gideon. Looks like there are more Gideons. I don't think you want to drop a Gideon, do you? Would you? Is there any way that you can bounce your opponent's creatures back? Thalia can be a threat. But he's going to go for the Gideon. And that's going to be eaten up by a Spell Queller. And as long as Jeffrey keeps the Spell Queller alive, the Gideon goes nowhere. Unfortunately, Gideons also get pushed back to hand. And I've seen games where Jeffrey works against the Gideon. So just saying. Right now, no lands. Right now, no lands in hand. So kind of starved for lands. He needs something good. He's gonna pass the turn. And knows not to play the Thalia. Both players just looking at each other thinking, who's gonna fire the trigger first? Do you fight over that Thalia? Okay, so right now it looks like Fuzi is going to go for the Thalia. Spell Queller gonna see that, but it's gonna get Void Shattered, and that's fine because there are many other ways for you to deal with the Thalia. Does he dispel? Okay, so what happens now? He's got Essence Flux in hand, which means that he can cast Essence Flux, get rid of the Spell Queller. Okay, so he chooses not to. So Essence Flux, he will bounce his Spell Queller. The Gideon gets put on the Spell Queller, enters the battlefield, can eat up the Void Shatter. The other Spell Queller, however, won't enter the battlefield until the Gideon has been resolved. So yeah, Cloud Blazer gonna be able to draw Jeffrey some cards. Fuzi here looks like he has a relatively aggressive board. He cannot swing in with the 2-1, but he can swing in with the Thalia, and Thalia is a pretty good card. Yeah. Wow, best channel on Twitch. Wait. Raccoon, we only have 11 viewers. Best channel with 11 viewers watching Magic the Gathering at Grey Ogre Games. That, I think, is then true. What you are saying is not exactly true, but I'll take it anyway. Thanks, Raccoon. So yeah, I'm not sure what the game plan is here. Glimmer of Genius, is that going to get countered? No? Alright. That's interesting. Does Jeffrey want to bounce his Cloud Blazer? Gains him a bit of life. Right, so it looks like he's got just hard counters in hand. And it feels like he has just changed up the entire game plan of the deck. Beating in slowly, very, very slowly. Reflector Mage here. Does that get countered? So he enters the battlefield tapped. He's going to see a Spell Queller. Are we going to fight over this? We're going to fight? Nope. We're not going to fight over that. It just passes the turn. He will eventually be able to bounce back the Spell Queller, and probably took out all the Engulf, the Shores from the deck, so becoming more creature heavy. And that Spell Queller will be able to block Jeffrey's creatures. So it's better to eat up the Summary Dismissal in hand under a Spell Queller rather than anything else. Reason being, let's see, go for it. Got Void Shatter in hand. Okay, going down to 6. Not sure what Jeffrey's game plan is here right now. Glimmer of Genius. Gonna try to go for that. It allows. It resolves. Scry 2, draw 2. Looking for something very specific. Maybe the Aetherflux Reservoir, but it doesn't seem like he does have the Aetherflux Reservoir anyway. Not in the deck anymore, I think. He's got enough lands, so he looks for the Unsubstantiate, which will be very important. Because when you cast that Unsubstantiate, it's going to... when you cast that Engulf the Shore, you need to push back the Gideon to your opponent's hand as well. Probably going to try the Stasis Snare here. Stasis Snare, does that resolve? Enters the battlefield. Fuzi can Summary Dismissal once it enters the battlefield. That'll be interesting. But Jeffrey can Spell Queller that as well. I think it's okay to eat it up with Spell Queller. Yeah, okay, so the reason why you want to eat up a spell, what's this spell? Summary Dismissal with the Spell Queller is that it exiles all the triggers on the stack, which may be relevant sometimes. Also, he doesn't eat the Spell Queller, he instead eats the Thalia. Interesting choice there. This looks to be a very long, grindy matchup. Which I don't know about you guys, but there's a cool interaction with Spell Queller. Essence Flux and a spell on the stack. One of the spells gets exiled forever, if I'm not wrong. Yes, okay, so what happens, Doodle Q, what happens is that if you cast a Spell Queller, okay, and before the exile target spell resolves, you can cast Essence Flux, and that would push the Spell Queller out, and you'll be able to resolve another spell. You may resolve another spell. Sorry, you may exile another spell. But the trigger to bring back... Oh, Niblis of Frost. You may bring back that card and put it back onto the battlefield. You may recast that card, but the recasting trigger happens before the recasting trigger resolves before the exile spell resolves. So there's no spell to recast, and then the spell gets exiled, and then there's a new, it's a totally new object. So yeah, let's the Eversin resolve. That's fine. He can tap down the Eversin with one of his spells, like the Unsubstantiate or Negates. And that becomes very, very, very scary. This Niblis of Frost, no joke. So, the bad thing here is that Fuzi has, Summary Dismissal. So if he were to cast Summary Dismissal, everything on the stack would disappear, which is bad. So you don't want to be doing that. You don't really want to be doing that. This is when there's already a spell under the... No. This happens when there is no spell under the spell color. Okay, so Summary Dismissal here, does it resolve? So he lets it go. Takes 2 points of damage, doesn't block. End step, does he do anything? Nothing. So the untaps. Let's see, what's the draw? Reflector Mage may be able to push back the Archangel Eversin. So let's see, Reflector Mage. Does that elicit a response? Push back. Oh, sorry. Okay, so pushes back the spell queller, pushes back the Eversin. So for the next turn, you won't be able to cast um, either one of those. And he swings in with his entire team. He does realize that there's another spell queller there, right? So he swings with the spell queller as well. Wow, that's 9 points of damage. And Fuzi drops to 7. This is a very big turn of events. Huge. Some would call it huge. Jeff's deck has a sideboard that changed the deck almost totally. Yes, it's a transformative sideboard. So you imagine it's the same approach that you take with what is that deck? The Dynavolt Tower deck, the blue-red Dynavolt Tower. It replaces the blue-red the Dynavolt Towers with Thing the Ices and Niblis of Frost. And when you untap with a Niblis of Frost, I can tell you, in a spell deck where spells matter twice as much. So, oh, wow. And here's the kicker. With all the spells on the stack, Jeffrey can just unsubstantiate the spell queller. Oh, okay, so Fuzi has the choice to cast that spell, but okay, so here we go. Right, it doesn't really work because he has the ability. You may cast that spell. If he doesn't cast that spell, you might be able to do some stuff. Okay, so with that on the stack, going to Essence Flux. Essence Flux going to probably bounce his own guy. Yeah, so he bounces his own guy. Going to tap that down. He's going to tap the Eversin down. He's going to unsubstantiate, push back the spell queller to hand, and then tap down the rattle chains. So that's the game. That is the game. Jeffrey takes it 2-0. For all the haters, for all the disbelievers, I guess you need to understand how the deck works. And when you understand how the deck works, then maybe you can play around it. It's a little difficult to play around, and especially the second game where you saw Jeffrey just suddenly change the deck. It's a transformative sideboard. Fantastic magic here. We are going to transition over to the other table with David and John Paul Poe. David, one of my favorite deck builders. Love him so much. He loves his Nahiris, loves the jank, and yeah, this looks like both players are underway. John Paul Poe playing the blue-white flash deck. He's going to swing with the Gideon. Oh, they're using a life counter, but I can't see the life counter. I'm going to adjust that. I'm going to rectify that. Be back in a while. Indeed, Doodle Q, that seemed beautiful, but yeah, like what Joe said, Joe did mention, if you know how the deck operates, then even with decks that you have currently, it's quite easy to, well, I won't say it's quite easy, but you know exactly what you should be fighting for. All right, back. I'm back. So here we go. 5 points of damage. David on 17, John Popo on 18. So he's gonna try to kill some of his creatures. Gonna try to strip John Popo's hand. Let's see if JPP responds. Does he respond? And that's 2 spells, which means the Dynavolt Tower gets triggered twice. The lightning Weaver of Lightning also gets triggered twice. Yes, Wednesday is modern. There's no replay for last week. Unfortunately, Sleepy Wound. Last week there was very few players that turned up for Modern, so we weren't able to stream that. Unfortunately, isn't able to take out any of the cards from his opponent's deck. But Dynavolt Tower is probably going to be able to take out the Spell Queller. Looks like he's going to get another trigger off of that. Kills the Spell Queller, exile a Spell Queller. It's going to come back. Fiery Temper Gideon. And then does he use that 3 damage? Does he want to shoot it at Gisela? I think he can wait. You can take the 5 points. Oh man, very brash, very brash. Does he take down Gideon? Yeah, so Gideon goes down. John Popo here at 15 life. I think a little rash there for David. You could have waited for John Popo to see what he did for his turn. And right now, David doesn't have any cards in hand, which is going to be a bit tough to build back. Going to start off with a Trouble Inspector, get a clue. And just go for it. So if you got it, you got it. John Popo only has 1 land left in his hand. Yeah, correct. No. John Popo, JPB, the island is in your hand. And wow, okay, so gonna take down the Gisela and just pass the turn. What are you looking for? What, Mark? Wow, why are you here? Helping me do what? Okay, cool. Sit down.
Yes. Okay, so where are we?
Okay, is the mic on?
Testing.
Yeah, okay.
Testing. Okay, it's on. What's up, guys?
Yeah, okay. If you're just joining us, you're watching the SCG game night here at Grey Ogre Games. My name is Mick. I'm one of your hosts, and I'm joined here by Mark Tan. How did you win that last game?
Yeah,
no, you win or you win?
I did. But the deck's a bit different from what
the deck is very different. I played your version of the deck. I get very upset. I like, this deck is no good. This version is no good. Too many of the goddamn Gideons. No nice.
I love Gideons. Okay, so
wow. Okay, so the Dynavolt Tower gets taken out by a Fragmentize, and looks like John Popo is getting back into the swing of things. Yeah, David doesn't activate the Gaia Reach Sanitarium. I thought he would, but he doesn't.
His hand's pretty good anyway.
Yeah, his hand is sturked.
Okay, but he just drew a mountain, so
he could use the okay, so what he can do now is to Collective Defiance, cycle through his hand, burn JPP
what's the
in the face.
feature under the Silver Spirit?
Oh,
is it?
No, it's a Trouble Inspector.
Okay.
So that is why we ask people to do the feature match on the other table. Because there's less glare on that table. Yeah. So does David choose to just cycle his hand? I think it is wise to do that. Yep, 5 mana.
But I don't. I would. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, you try to burn the spirit. You burn the spirit, burn JPP's face, and then cycle your entire hand.
Just rearrange his opponent's graveyard.
He did? Oh yeah, okay.
I think that's fine now, right? Oh no, he's trying to burn the mage. Yeah.
Oh, why the mage? No, just do it on the spirit. The spirit is going to be the problematic one. You should be doing it on the spirit.
Just let it go. Maybe he was thinking like JPP would just
psych the spirit.
Yeah.
Aha! You played way too much.
Too much mind game.
Yes, it's not legacy. You can rearrange your opponent's graveyard. You can rearrange your own graveyard. That's fine. Although it does set some people on tilt, especially those players who play Dredge. They like their graveyard arranged in a certain way. We were watching one of the More Than Modern nights, which you can join us on Wednesday, where the opponent just kept taking the graveyard. and then reversing the order. And then when the player got it back, he started reversing the order again. So and he did it like I think 3 times. So you know you got to be on a bit on tilt. You know when that
GPP
happens.
is playing red.
What is the
Whoa.
red for?
That's
That is the question.
Defiance. Oh my god, he could have just
Oh man.
so close. Bam.
Defiance, bang, 3 points to you. Are you guys into the Frontier format at
not
all?
yet, but we'll eventually look into it because
Maybe next year.
Modern
No.
is not doing really well.
Yeah,
sadly. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we are losing the modern crowd. I think everywhere is kind of losing the
Yeah.
modern crowd. So we might just go into doing Frontier.
Yeah.
Oh man, Arino, you know what? I wish you were not watching the stream on Saturday. You know what I wish Frontier was?
What?
Frontier includes all cards that came out, and literally all cards.
So like conspiracy. Yeah,
Conspiracy, Commander,
Uh-huh.
Eternal Masters. Anything with a holographic stamp you can use for what you call it, Frontier, including Ugin's Fate packs, like all the special packs that you use, including masterpieces. Hey, judge call. So yeah. So standard kind of rolls into Frontier. Not standard, but modern rolls into Frontier. I think people will be more interested in trying out this post-modern format. Burn the face, and David just needs 2 more spells, which he has. Okay, so David is 1 more spell away from burning JPP out. I don't like that he tapped his Gaia Reach Sanitarium, that he could have filtered off his land.
Oh no, he did. He did it to discard the.
Oh, okay, alright. So burn you in the face. JPP, what you got?
Go to 6, go to 3. It's not lethal anyway.
It's not lethal.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. He still has 1 more draw step. It's not lethal.
That is correct. Gonna spell queller that. Okay, so spell queller, which means that it's lethal on David's side. If David takes the damage, he is dead. D-E-D, dead. And if he tries to kill the spell queller, then he will definitely be dead.
Is JPP playing like?
What's the
Mortal
writ?
Race?
Yeah, that's the name. What's the?
Alright, that's it.
So that's it. That's all right. So that's the game between David and John Popo. David just 1 more spell away and from killing killing JPP. But yeah, JPP advances, and yeah, the raid is only for motorists. What the hell? Really?
Right, it's not too bad.
Yeah, I know it's Scry 2, but really, you would dilute the deck that much to Scry 2? Let us know in the comments. Would you include that raid for the veteran motorists? Okay, we've got to say bye to Mark for a while. But yeah, if you are just joining us, thank you for joining us from wherever of the internet you are from. Thanks for joining us. You're watching the SCG Game Night here at Grey Ogre Games. My name is Mick. I'm one of your hosts. I was joined by Mark earlier, but he's gone back to run the event. There's about 4 minutes left in the round, and we're going to go for a short break. But before we go, just want to remind you that you can you can catch all the other streams that we do. Tuesday nights we do more than our SCG Game Night, which is standard. Wednesday nights we do More Than Modern, which is modern. And sometimes on the weekends we also have tournaments, but we don't stream them all. But this weekend special, you get a tournament, Legacy tournament. GPT Chiba is on its way, and we're giving out 2 free buys to or a free 2-round buy to the lucky winner of GPT Chiba. But if you miss the tournament, it's okay. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can catch all the replays on that channel. It's pretty good. Last but not least, do listen to the Power 9 podcast. Myself and Alfian and Kaz, we get together everywhere. We talk about this very obscure game called Magic the Gathering. Not sure if you know. I'm really not sure if you know about this game. But if you don't, I highly recommend you try playing it, because it's quite fun. This week we talk about the Commander set review, or we talk about the new Commander cards and which ones we're excited for and which one we think it's a questionable reprints. And we're gonna go out for a while. We'll be right back, so don't go away. See you guys for round 3. Ciao.